I'm Ben. I'm a certified home inspector, and we're going to inspect this house. And this is a brand new house. Every home, whether it's new or old, should be inspected. Why? Because we want to keep our homes safe, healthy, and in good shape. And I've asked a friend of mine, Ryan, to help me inspect this house. Whether you are renting, home buying, or a homeowner, you should get a third-party neutral certified inspector in your local neighborhood to help you out. Not all homes have problems, but some do. And that's the whole point of getting a home inspection. We want to catch those problems when they're small before they become too big to fix ourselves. So let's inspect this house and see what we find. But first, let's say hi to Ryan. Hey Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ben. It's good to see you.
Thanks, Ryan. You're Ryan from Rzany Home Inspections?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And you are a North Carolina licensed home inspector?
Correct.
And you're an InterNACHI certified home inspector?
Absolutely.
And you've been in business for how long?
We're coming up on 5 years now.
Oh, sweet. Really good, really good.
Yep.
And you work in the Triangle area?
Yep, the Triangle, Greater Raleigh area in North Carolina.
And you'll drive anywhere for your clients?
We'll drive anywhere for our clients.
Awesome. And today we're going to inspect this home. And
Yes,
the
sir.
client wants to know the condition of the home and see if there are any problems.
Absolutely.
Yep. And we're going to go around and we're going to use software and take pictures and produce a report at the end.
Yep, we've got our software ready to go on our phone. So we're going to put some videos, some pictures, and give the homeowners some peace of mind that their home is in good shape and is healthy.
And you do all kinds of inspections. You do home inspections and radon, and even on your nice truck here, radon, septic, and water.
Yes, sir. We do air quality testing as well, mold inspections.
Wow.
So we do a little bit of everything.
You're a one-stop shop.
That's the goal.
Okay, so we're going to do an inspection on this home. Let's see if we can find some problems. Maybe not, but let's take a look around. Where do you want to begin?
So we're going to start by taking a look at the roof.
Okay.
And then take a look at the exterior.
All right, let's go.
So-
I've got my tool bag, but I think you have a tool bag as well.
Yes,
Why
I
don't
do.
you tell me what kind of tools do you use during a typical home inspection?
Yeah. So we have our trusty drone that helps us take a look at any roofs that we can't safely walk or access.
Yeah, are we going to fly today?
I think we will.
Okay.
It's looking like a good day for some drone photography.
Now, not every home inspector can fly a drone. You have to be FAA licensed or piloted or something like that, right? You have
Yes,
to take
sir.
the course.
Yep. In order to fly commercially, which we're doing,
Yeah.
you have to be an FAA licensed pilot.
It's a pilot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Part 107.
Yep.
Which I am.
Yep.
So we'll make sure that we comply with all regulations.
And if you're interested in being a pilot, InterNACHI has a course.
InterNACHI has a course.
Did you take it?
I did.
Good.
I studied the heck out of that to prepare for that test.
Good. It's a difficult test.
It's a difficult test, but I could say that I passed on the first try. And,
Awesome.
And the course definitely helped.
Good job. Well, what other tools you got? Is that an infrared camera?
Yeah. So this is our trusty infrared or thermal imaging camera.
Yeah.
This helps us look for moisture intrusion, any leaks,
Yeah.
determining if there's insulation behind walls.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite let us look through walls, but
No.
it's the next best thing.
Yeah, you get to see things that other people can't see.
That's right.
Differences in temperature can tell you a lot. Something's hot or something's cold. It could be water if it's cold, something overheated if it's hot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
I said, gives us a different view of things.
Yeah, and I see you got your long stick
Yep,
for probing.
Yep, for probing, or when you get into those houses with 9-10 foot ceilings and you can't quite reach it with your finger.
Yeah.
It's a great tool to have to test those smoke detectors.
And you got your tool belt.
And then we've got the trusty tool belt with the necessities.
And the GFCI tester.
GFCI tester, can't do the job without it.
That's right.
Same with the flashlights, headlamps, and a couple of other tools, tape measures.
And what you got in the box?
So over here in the box is our air sampling kit for indoor air quality testing.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people are very sensitive to like dust and mites and mold and mildew and things, and you attend to those clients.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, like you
That's
said,
great.
like we said, we want to make sure people's homes are healthy.
Yeah, that's
you know,
right.
and that way they can be healthy in their home.
All right, so let's grab our tools and let's take a look at the roof.
Let's take a look.
Nice. Let me show you what tools I use. So got the typical flashlight, measuring tape. There's a GFCI tester. We'll use that a lot, and a voltage leak tester to make sure I don't touch anything that's live. Here's my drone, a handy LED flashlight. I like to wear my left side glove to protect my left side. My right hand does all the camera work. There's a laser thermometer. Got 2 infrared cameras and the C5 and the moisture meter. Like that for the electrical panel board. If we're doing a home inspection and I need to ask my client if they want me to do a mold test, got some flyers there. Got some extra tools on this side. Are the 2 balls I use to make sure that the floor is level or not. And this is a handy 6-in-1 screwdriver. The infamous microwave tester. Hydro sensor to test if it's wet or not. And I've got my gardening tool, the 3-tined hoe, to grab insulation and move it out of the way. And those are the tools that I carry in my toolbox. So you're connecting your iPhone,
yep,
to your
to
joystick.
To the remote control for the drone.
And the drone is communicating with your phone.
Is communicating with the phone and the remote
Yep.
control.
Yeah. And it has all these safety features. It'll tell you that you're connected to satellites or not, and whether it's a zone that's restricted or not, and all
Yep.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah, if we're near an airport, it'll put a little lock on there. We've got to accept the terms that we're not going to do anything crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to fly into a plane.
Yep, and not intrude on their airspace.
Yeah, we're not going very high. The house isn't very high. It's not a tall commercial building. We're generally going to go like 30, 40, 50 feet at most. Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not near any military bases either, so we're not going to get shot down.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I'm ready for takeoff.
Yeah, whenever you want.
So the first thing that I like to do for my report and for my clients is take a nice, pretty cover shot for our report.
Okay.
All right, that looks good. So we've got that, so we can get on to inspecting the roof.
Okay. I'll follow you around.
All right.
What do you want to take a look at?
So I like to start with the peaks, with the ridges.
Yeah.
And then from there, do some individual passes along the the width of the roof.
Okay. Okay, Ryan, I like using the drone right now because, man, when I use a fiberglass 28-foot ladder, that thing's 60 pounds. I gotta move it all around. And even if I set it up at the right spot, I can't do what you're doing right now, which is getting an awesome shot of the entire ridge there. So that's really great. It's very easy.
Very easy.
And you're looking at what the camera's looking at.
That's right.
And you're shooting 4K or something?
I believe it's 4K.
Yeah, something high quality.
It's something high quality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, nice.
And it's a lot safer than, like you said, going up on the big extension ladders or having it side up from underneath you.
Yep.
So far, we're looking pretty good.
Don't
see any.
We're looking for what? We're looking for missing shingles.
So we're looking for any missing shingles, any hail damage.
Yeah.
Lifted shingles or wind damage.
Yeah. Sometimes wind will come up underneath the shingle and crack it right off.
Exactly.
And we're looking for cracks or any kind of odd things.
Anything odd.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about taking a picture is we always have that reference if we need to go back later and blow it up or get a more detailed look.
Yeah.
We have that capability.
And I see there's ridge vents on top of that. So it's like a thing on the very peak of the roof, and that allows the attic to ventilate.
Yep.
So those are good.
Yep, that lets all that hot, stagnant air to escape. So when we get to the back of the house, we're going to look at all of the plumbing pipes and all of the penetrations, flashings, and vent boots.
Can we walk through here?
Absolutely.
Okay. And do you see any problems with the vent pipes?
Let's see. Go down a little, that way we get a little closer look.
Yeah. Yeah, you can take a look at the gutters too. You can even look right into the gutters.
Absolutely.
Yep, there it is.
There it is, and we can zoom in on that and drop down.
Yep.
To get an even closer look.
Yeah. That is really close. That's like if I was just standing right there.
Yeah, and so it looks good. We're looking at the boot itself to make sure that it's not damaged or cracked, because over time the sun will dry it out.
Yep.
So that looks good. And then we're looking at the way it's fastened to the roof. So it's nailed to the roof.
Yep.
and we want to make sure that it has that roofing tar on the nail heads. That way there's no moisture intrusion.
And so it was installed properly. And if this was an older house, we'd want to take a look at the condition of that boot because it doesn't last forever.
Correct.
It's just a material that can degrade.
Yep.
Just like all the materials on a house, it's slowly degrading, but you have to know the condition of the home.
Correct. You know, and that's why it's so important to get a home inspection or even a home maintenance inspection.
Yeah.
Because I don't like getting up on my own roof of my house to do it, even though it's my profession.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend people get a home warranty inspection if they've built a newer house or if it's been a couple of years and they just want to know what's going on.
Yep.
Because things like this you may not know.
Cool. All right. What else were you looking at?
So then we're going to back up a little and we're going to check out the gutters.
Okay.
So we're going to see if any debris has accumulated, see if any shingles have broken off at the gutter edge.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can see right down the downspout. So that downspout pipe I know is clear, right at the gutter.
Yep.
And you can fly right along the gutter.
And we're just going to fly right along the gutter.
Can't see that from here.
Can't see it from here. You know, and you can't. It'd be really tough to see with binoculars too.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah,
Some inspectors use binoculars, but that would be impossible. Look at that angle of the shingle. All inspectors have certain amount of tools available to them, and it's up to them to choose. They can inspect from the ground. They can get up there with a ladder. They can use a drone, binoculars, all kinds of things.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, the key
Whatever
is
works,
as long as they can safely do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Especially when we're 30 feet up.
Yeah. This is really safe.
So far, we're in good shape. I think the homeowner is going to be pretty happy with this.
Cool. And you'll have those pictures or video, and you'll give that to your client.
Yes, sir. So we'll take a high up video showing the overall layout of the roof or the design of the roof, and then we'll take a shot of the back of the house showing the back side of the roof. Yeah. And then the left side, right side, front and back of the house.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
To give them all angles.
That's fantastic. I know some owners will love a shot of the entire property. You could probably do that as well. Home inspectors, we're not required to walk all over. If it's a 2 acre or a 4 acre piece of property, we're not going all around. But maybe your drone can give a nice shot of it.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I actually like to do is I like to send my drone way up and get a photo showing the entire property. You know, so to give our homeowner a bird's eye look of their property.
That's really amazing. All right, Ryan, we're done with the roof and we're going to do the exterior. What do you do first? What do you like to do? What's your process? I'll follow you around.
So I like to start at either the front door or the garage as my starting point.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to make 2 loops around the house. Yeah. I'm going to make a wide loop going counterclockwise. Yep. And then when I get back to the front door, I'm going to get up close to the house and then make a clockwise loop. That way I can see things from a different perspective.
You're the only inspector I know who does that. Let's go do that. That sounds really cool. You're going to have something big wide and then move in.
Correct.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. Let's go.
So we're gonna start off going this way.
Okay.
And like I said, not a bird's eye view, but a wide view.
Yeah.
Just taking everything in.
Yeah.
You know, there may be things higher up that we won't see when we get tight to the house.
Yeah.
So we're just focusing on this side of the house as a whole.
Yeah, and mentally taking note of like systems, like you got an air conditioner over here, right? Yep. You have to get back to that, and the electrical meter is over there.
Correct.
Looks like a hose too. So you'll get back to that later.
That's right.
Right now, you're just taking in the big stuff.
We're taking in the big stuff.
I see a lot of vent hoods.
Yep. So we're making sure when we get closer up that the vent hoods don't have any damage.
Yeah.
We're going to look at the dryer hood, make sure we don't have a screen that way it doesn't trap any lint.
Yeah, I see a vent coming out of there, out of the soffit.
Yep.
That must be a bathroom, I guess. A bathroom exhaust
or
something like that. And the siding looks pretty good. It's vinyl.
Siding is good, vinyl.
Yep.
So far, nothing standing out yet, which is always good.
Anything else you're looking for?
So we're looking at the grading of the lot as well, making sure that all the water, any rainwater will flow away from the house and not towards the house.
So I see this property is built really well. I mean, everything is sloping away.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 inches for the first 10 feet coming from the house, 10 feet, it should drop 6 inches or something like that.
That's right. And so they've achieved that.
Yeah.
And then some.
So the downspouts, they got to divert that water away from the house.
Yep. The name of the game is to keep water away from the house.
Yeah, water management.
Yep. Nothing will destroy a house, quite like water.
Do you look at fences? Do you, how detailed, do you disclaim them and say, no, I don't really inspect them? Or what do you do with a fence like this? This is a nice fence.
So we don't really look at fences unless has like a severe lean or it's in danger of imminently falling over.
Right.
And then that's just a courtesy that we'll give to our clients.
Sure. Cool. Anything else you see? I don't see any problems with the siding.
No, so far so good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head out this gate and finish our loop here.
Got another water spigot.
And so we have another hose bib on this side of the house.
Yep. We have the neighborhood swale where all the rainwater collects and then moves through underneath the driveways.
Yep.
I guess you would just look for erosion. It's relatively new property, but you'd probably look for erosion or kind of water clogging up or something like that.
Yep, and we'll take a look at the culverts. Because that's a good spot for a lot of erosion to happen.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no washout, that the driveway's on stable ground.
Yeah. Talking about driveways, so what do you think about the cracking?
So there are 2 types of concrete that I always like to tell people.
Oh no, I know this joke.
Okay, it's concrete that has cracked and concrete that will crack. But this will go into the report. So we'll take out our phone here and open up our camera.
Yep.
And we'll get a nice picture of that.
And that'll be in the report.
And that'll be in the report. Because the reason that's important that we're going to mention it is because water intrusion.
Yeah.
So especially when we get to the colder months, any water that gets in there, it can freeze and thaw.
Yeah.
And it's going to make the cracks bigger. The concrete's going to heave. It's going to settle.
Yeah.
And it's going to create a trip hazard.
Yep. Cool. So right now it's relatively smooth, but it's not going to stay that way.
Correct.
Water's going to go through the cracks and do its own thing.
Yep.
And make it worse. All by itself.
All by itself.
Yep. Amazing. All right. What else are we looking at on the outside?
So we finished our wide loop.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go up close to the house.
Okay.
And we're going to do our opposite loop, taking a close up, looking at the downspouts.
Yeah.
Checking our GFCI protected outlets.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll take our handy outlet tester here.
And you're putting a tester
and we're putting the tester in, and it has a legend on here that will show us the way the lights light up. We'll look at our legend and see what that tells us. So we have 2 yellow or amber lights, and that tells us we have correct wiring.
Okay.
And so we'll go ahead and push our tester to pop the GFCI reset button to make sure that it functions.
And all exterior receptacles should be protected by the safety device called a GFCI.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I'm pushing the tester, and this is showing that there we go. Yep. Sometimes you gotta give it a little extra to get it to trip.
Yeah, and I heard it.
I heard it as well.
Yeah.
So
it's in the garage.
It's in the garage.
All right. So the reset button is in the garage.
Correct.
So if a homeowner is like, "Hey, all my receptacles outside, they're all dead," they probably don't know there's a little GFCI reset button that you got to find and reset.
Correct, and it's typically in the garage.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to have because if you're like using an electric weed whacker or something, water and electricity don't mix, so you need a little safety device to stop you from getting shocked.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that I'm going to do real quick before we continue on is go inside and reset it.
Okay.
That way, if the homeowner has a freezer or a fridge,
yeah,
we're not going to spoil their food by having that turned off for a prolonged period of time.
Cool. And I heard it, and I bet it's going to be that or that.
Let's see.
There we go.
Yep. And they did a good job for us, and they've labeled it GFCI exterior, so we know exactly where to go.
Yep. Okay.
All right, so we'll continue on.
Yeah. I don't see any wood rot at the front door.
No wood rot at the front door. We can take our probe and give it a probe.
Yep.
So far, so good. And we're going to check our downspout connection.
All right.
Make sure it's not falling off. It's secure to the house.
Yep.
They have the splash pad here to divert the water away.
Yeah.
Checking our windows. We're looking for any broken seals, broken glass.
These are vinyl windows.
Vinyl windows.
So they could crack. They don't rot, but they could crack or have a little problem.
Yep.
Maybe with the sealant, or the screen could be damaged. So anything like a maintenance item,
Yep.
like
And
these screws sometimes become loose.
they come loose.
Yep. But it looks good.
We're going to look at the low E film, which is the low emissivity film.
Yeah.
Which keeps your home, helps keep your home cool in the summer.
Yeah.
And warm in the winter.
Yep.
So we don't see any sort of metallic hazing.
Yep.
So that film hasn't started to deteriorate yet.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll check this downspout as well.
Yep.
And then we're looking at the foundation. So this looks like it's a rigid foam insulation board with,
That little bump out there.
yep, this little bump out right here. And it looks like it has a concrete coating on it called a parge coating
Yeah.
to blend it into the house.
Okay.
So we see we've got a little nick here that could be caused by a weed whacker, or they've done some gardening here, so gardening tools.
So they should repair that.
So they can come back and put some more parge coating just to seal it.
Yep.
But generally it's not the end of the world.
Right.
You know, it's,
Very minor.
Very minor. It's kind of a home maintenance
Yep.
type of deal.
Yeah. So where it bumps out, there's actually a piece of foam up against the foundation here. So if you touch it, like it sounds hollow. And this is concrete, and that's hollow. So that's the foam layer to give it a little insulation.
Correct.
That's cool. But a little patchwork, nice trip to Lowe's, get some cement and patch that up.
There you go.
Or squirt some gray silicone in there, or something like that.
That's right.
Cool. That's a water bib?
That's a hose bib, yes sir.
Okay. Why do they call it a bib? That's so strange. It's like a faucet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Faucet, spigot. So we're not going to take the homeowner's timer off yet.
Yeah.
Or not yet, but we're not going to take that off.
Yeah.
When we get to the other side, it looks like we can check out that or not that hose bib
To make sure it works.
to make sure it works.
Okay.
Siding looks good.
Sometimes there's a grill that gets too close and it can melt it.
Yep. We see that a
sometimes-
lot. You know,
It could be loose here at the corners, but it looks okay to me.
looks okay to me as well. And then we've got a little more damage. Looks like from a weed whacker,
Yeah.
but same thing as one we saw before.
Yeah. So that's the insulation there.
Yep.
A little foam insulation that comes into little pieces. It's really cosmetic, but if you wanted to patch that up, the homeowner could do that.
Correct.
That's cool. Rear porch.
Yep. We got the rear porch, so we're going to keep checking all the downspouts. So we're secure to the house. Oh, but we've got a loose elbow right here.
All right.
It actually came right off.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that this is not only on, but secure.
Right.
That way, when the water comes down, it diverts away from the house. But if you get a high velocity rain or going down the downspout,
Yep.
it doesn't just wash this and blow this right off.
Right. During a heavy rainstorm, especially in this climate, it could be 100 gallons of water coming down.
Absolutely. You know.
So the homeowner would just get like maybe a little metal screw or something.
Yeah, a metal screw. Maybe they need a new elbow.
Yeah.
But like we mentioned earlier, water management.
Yep.
So-
I don't see any problems with the hot grill melting this. This seems to be okay. That's usually a thing that I find. You know, the grill gets too close or the lid touches it.
Yeah. Yeah, we recommend 10 feet away from the house.
Yeah.
I like my personal house. I like to go a little further. But yeah, 10 feet should be the minimum.
Yep. And more of that foam.
And then we've got
being chipped up.
We got some more right here.
Yeah. Not too bad.
No, so far we're seeing routine items.
And what are these green things?
So-
I keep seeing them every 10 feet or so.
So
around the house.
these are termite bait stations.
Okay.
So bait. So
you're
it's
baiting termites,
Yep,
like
you're
a-
trying to lure them in.
Yeah, like a fish going fishing,
Exactly.
but you're underground. Your fish are termites.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And that's something that a termite treatment company is going to be responsible for. They're going to come back and take a look.
Yep. So a termite treatment company, a pest control company.
Yeah.
They manage these and they maintain these.
Yeah.
So
And
that'll be up to the homeowner to.
And these are like sweet pieces of candy that the termites, instead of eating your house,
Correct.
which is something they would really enjoy, they're going to really enjoy these instead.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, it's our first layer of defense.
Yeah.
So we're still checking windows. We're
Yep.
checking the downspouts.
And while you're inspecting things that are in good shape, are you taking pictures? Are you putting that in your report? Like no problems found, no defects seen at the siding? Or is it good and bad?
It's
or
good.
Just bad?
It's a mix of both.
Yeah.
You know, if things are done well, we do like to tell our clients and homeowners that things are done well. We don't want to just give all bad news.
Yeah.
We like to tell people if things are done well. We like to highlight those as well.
These are not termite baits.
No, they are not.
These are part of the...
They're part of the sewer system.
Yeah.
So those are cleanouts. So if a plumber needs to come and run a sewer scope or clean out the pipes,
Yeah.
This is an access point to do that.
Yep. So homeowners, don't bury those.
Don't bury those.
Yeah. Know where they are. Don't bury them.
Know where they are.
All right. This is the electrical. Oh, no. This is the air conditioner.
So this is the air conditioning. So this is one of those things that we will take a picture of,
Okay.
and then we'll look for our labels.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you inspect an air conditioner unit out here?
So the first thing that we do is we look to make sure that it is relatively level.
Yeah.
And not excessively leaning one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
We've seen a couple of units, like all the erosion of the dirt has just allowed the unit to go like that, and that's not good.
Yeah, and for the unit, you want it to have a little bit of fall to it.
Yeah.
That way when the rain hits it, it can shed and not stand and corrode the unit.
And it's on a nice stable base, I see.
Nice stable base. We've got a little bit of fall to it all around.
Yeah.
So that looks good. And then I come around, like I said, I look at the label.
Yep.
So I'd like to take a nice clear picture of the label.
Yep.
That way we can determine the age of the unit as well and put that in the report.
Okay. That's good.
And then while we're over here, we're going to check the insulation.
Yeah, what are those?
So we've got the refrigerant lines. We've got the electrical line. We've got refrigerant lines. So we're going to check the insulation while we're here, make sure that it's not torn up, it's not damaged.
Yeah.
We're going to look.
This is the foam insulation you're talking about. It's like around the pipe, the big pipe.
Yes,
It
sir.
needs to be in good shape.
Yep, this needs to be in good shape.
And when it's running, if the homeowner wants to see if it's running, you can touch this pipe, maybe where it's not insulated, and it should be cold.
Correct.
Touch. Cool.
Yes, sir.
And what's this pipe here?
So this is the condensate drain pipe.
Okay.
So this is coming from the air handler. It should be up in the attic.
Yeah.
And so all the condensation that's produced needs to get discharged to the exterior, which is what this does.
So this is going to drip water.
This is going to drip water.
Okay.
Now I'm going to put this in the report as a defect.
Yeah. Because you want water away.
Because I want water away.
Yeah, that's right.
And so this is going,
Right there.
I'm going to dig down and we can see all this
Yep.
soil right here is
Wet.
is soaked.
Yep. Okay.
So I'm going to recommend that this be extended a little further away from the house.
Yep.
Like we said, water management.
Yep. It's very easy for a homeowner to do that.
Very easy.
Yeah. And this is a disconnect.
That's the disconnect. And so they've got silicone all around it.
Yeah.
So that looks to be in good shape.
Cool.
And then the hose bib, we've got our pressure gauge here.
What's that?
So when we hook this up to the hose bib, it'll tell us the pressure of
Okay.
the hose bib.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this is one where I don't mind unscrewing their hose.
Yeah, some homeowners have like timers, and it's for the gardening and landscaping.
Which is what we saw on the other side of the house, and those are programmable. So we don't want to do anything to mess up their schedule.
Right. So this is neat. This is you follow a standards of practice. It's a visual only inspection, but inspectors are allowed to exceed the standards by using devices and GFCI testers and devices like that.
That's right.
And you like to do this.
I like to do this.
So you get an idea of the pressure.
So yes, sir. So the pressure shouldn't exceed 80 psi, 80 pounds per square inch. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on and see where we're at. We're open all the way, and looks like we're about 82. It's not too bad,
But it's up there.
It's up there. So we're going to take a picture of that.
So what might that cause in a house if you have too much water pressure?
So,
the pipes.
so the pipes are designed to only handle a certain amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And an excessive amount of pressure can lead to bursts. It can lead to failure of the crimp rings that attach the pipes to their components.
Right. Cause drips maybe from a pressure relief valve.
Cause drips.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
we'll take a look for plumbing leaks inside.
yep. So this will cue us in to take a extra look, maybe a few extra moments at the water heater.
And also water hammering. A lot of water pressure and a lot of flow that could cause water hammering as well.
That's right.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that when we're running water at all the bathrooms.
And we're gonna make sure that we put their hose back on.
Yep.
We want to leave things in the condition that we found them.
Like we were never here.
Like we were never here.
And here's another discharge pipe, but it's not from the air conditioner unit. That was over here. This must be from something else. Maybe hot water tank or...
Yeah. Well, when we get in the garage, we'll see when we reset the GFCI cell water heater in there.
Okay.
So
cool.
We'll take a look when we get in there. But since you pointed out right here, we do have a little bit of loose siding.
Yeah.
So we'll
see.
We'll try to push it back on, but
siding's a little flexible. Maybe it just needs a little push.
Yeah, just needs a little bit of help.
All right. And what do we have here?
So we have the electrical meter for the house. So what I like to do is I like to take a picture of it, and I like to take a picture of the lockout tag that the utility provider puts on here.
If it's unlocked or missing,
that means it could have been tampered with.
Right.
The utility company could have not put it on.
Yeah.
So I like to take a picture just for our records. This doesn't make its way into the report.
Yep.
Just to show that by the time that we were at the home, it hasn't been tampered with.
Yeah. Yep. And inside there is high voltage. Don't put your finger in there.
Yeah, don't put your finger in there.
It's not a play area.
No, sir.
Okay. So that's the underground conduit coming from the street, goes into the meter, and I'm assuming there's in the garage, maybe that's the hot water tank electrical panel.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's Spectrum, that's cable.
Cable, internet.
Yep. And this is a grounding electrode conductor.
Yes, sir. And
coming from the meter and the panel, and it goes right into the ground.
Yep. And then so we can pull some of this pine straw back and give it a pull, make sure it's connected.
Yeah. If it's loose, that's no good.
Correct. So we've got, feels like we've got a nice tight connection.
Yeah.
And one thing I notice on the side of the kick plate is I see exposed wood.
It should be painted?
It should be painted or sealed.
That's an easy thing for a homeowner to do.
Yeah.
So this is painted to keep out the weather. This end where it's been cut.
Yeah. So I'm
also.
So I'm going to take a picture of that as well.
And this is a new house, so it hasn't gotten the time to rot.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
But it could. This would be a vulnerable point.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're going to recommend to our client or the homeowner that be sealed.
I love these tips. I love the home maintenance tips. We want to keep our homes maintained.
That's right.
Before things go to rot, maintain it now. Yeah.
Right. Do the easy fix before it becomes a big fix.
That's right. That's right. Cool. All right. What else?
So looks like we're back to our starting point.
Yeah.
So we've got the outside done.
Yeah.
We're ready to go in the attic.
We did the roof. We have a little thing on the roof. I remember a roofing nail popped through a shingle or something.
Yep.
And then what else? Nothing else with the roof. Gutters are good. Downspout.
We had the one downspout, the elbow disconnected on the back of the house.
Yep. And little paint at the door there.
Little paint. And then we had the one piece of siding that popped off that we'll probably just mention to the homeowner.
Yeah. And then the stucco over the foam. That could be patched up a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah. Everything else looks pretty good.
Yeah, so we've got just a couple of things.
Yeah. Not bad.
Not bad.
That's really good information still. I mean, we're not finding a big hole in the roof, like a major material defect that's going to hurt somebody. But knowing that everything's pretty good, that's still good, valuable information from a home inspector.
That's right.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's go inside.
All right.
All right, Ryan. We've got our slippers on, and I've got my indoor-only shoes on. And it looks like we have a note from the homeowner about animals.
Yep. So,
animals are put away, and the primary dog is in the crate in the laundry room.
That's right.
So you're a pet-friendly inspector.
We love our pets.
Yeah. So we're going to take care of the pets and not disturb them as much as possible.
That's right.
Yep.
We're gonna make sure that we keep the house closed and secure. That
Yep.
way, if an animal does go out, they can't get too far.
Yeah, and always keeping the door closed right behind you.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. So let's do the kitchen.
All right.
You want to walk us through a typical kitchen inspection?
Absolutely. So starting right here, we've got an outlet on the end of the peninsula here. So we're gonna check the outlets, make sure they're correctly wired. And they're also GFCI protected.
Okay.
So we're gonna, first before we push the button is we're gonna make sure there's no appliances plugged in or we know where our reset button is.
Okay. I see one over here.
So we've got one over here.
Yep. And one there.
All right, and one there.
On either side of the stove.
All right, so I'm gonna push the button. Do you wanna reset it for me?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yep. So it's this one here.
All right.
I'll reset it.
Reset it.
So
Now
all
we've got power.
kitchen receptacles need to be protected by GFCI.
Correct.
And that's the reset button.
And that's the reset.
Okay.
So then moving along here, we're gonna run some water at the sink. We're gonna run hot and cold.
Yep.
And then we're gonna take out our thermal imaging camera as we're running the water,
Okay.
check the water temperature.
That's cool.
And we're also gonna use it to, under the sink to look for any leaks.
Okay. And we don't want the water to be scalding hot,
Correct.
like steam coming out. That's not
Correct. My threshold is for it to be around 120 degrees.
good. Yeah. That's hot.
That's hot.
Yeah.
You know, anything higher increases that scald risk or the time it takes to scald people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Especially little kids.
correct.
When they are being scalded, they just freeze up and they can't turn off the faucet.
Correct.
So you got to make sure your temperature is within tolerable limits.
Yeah,
there.
especially kids and older people too.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So we've got our water running. We've got cold water going.
Yep.
We're gonna switch it over to hot.
Yep.
And then we'll run some water on this side of the sink. And as that's running, we're gonna
Yep.
pop down. We've got a trash can that we can slide out of our way here.
Now it's a visual only inspection. You're not going to move personal items or and debris and carpets and furniture or anything like that or anything in here.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Like I said,
You're just in
trash
and
can
out.
just in and out. You know,
And we're not
like-
movers.
we're not movers. You know, we do our best to access everything that we need within reason without disturbing the homeowner's items.
Yeah. And that infrared is telling you what's hot and what's not. That's really great.
Yeah,
And what's
so-
dripping.
So we see that our drain pipe here is bright orange, which tells us that we've got some hot water coming out.
Yep. Any leaks?
No leaks.
That's really amazing. If it was dripping, you would see hot water making splashes and puddles
That's right.
with your infrared camera.
Yep. So we're gonna put this back, and then while we're down here, we're gonna check the disposal.
Yep.
Which the button is right here.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's on this side of the sink, so we
Yep.
want to make sure that we always have water running
Yep.
in the disposal when we turn it on.
Yeah.
So now we're just listening.
Yeah.
No loud thuds, no weird noises.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And then we'll check our water temperature.
Yep. Yeah, that
Where-
infrared camera is really handy.
So we're about 109 degrees.
Yeah. That's great.
So that looks
So
good.
within limits, that's good.
Within limits.
Yep.
Then we get to the dishwasher.
Yeah, do you turn on the dishwasher? Do you run a short load or?
Yes, sir. So the state of North Carolina tells us we have to run a cycle of the dishwasher.
Yep.
So we're gonna go to our cycles, do a normal cycle,
Yep.
hit start. We've already made sure that we've got the water turned on.
Yep.
And then, so we're gonna let the dishwasher do its thing.
Yeah.
And in a couple of hours, we're gonna come back and check it.
Yep. Cool.
So then, as we move along with our inspection, we're gonna check our cabinets, make
Okay.
sure the doors are connected,
All right.
the handles aren't loose.
Do you check how the cabinets are fastened to the wall? Make sure it's not going to fall on
Yep.
you?
So we give it just a little shake. You know,
Yeah.
don't want to use too much pressure.
Yeah. So that's at GFCI.
That's the GFCI.
That's to protect people from getting shocked in the kitchen.
Yep. Now we're moving on to the range and the microwave.
Okay.
Before we turn anything on,
Yeah.
I like to check the oven to make sure nobody's storing anything. That way we don't burn any
Yeah.
containers
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Yeah, you
So-
don't want to heat up boxes, cardboard boxes or something like that.
Nope.
or something that can be burned.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we've got a cast iron pan, but I like taking them out, even though it's just one item. I'm comfortable taking it out.
Sure.
If we had all of their sheet trays or something like that,
Yeah.
We would disclose that we didn't turn it on because of homeowner belongings.
Yeah.
So we'll just
And then we kick everything on?
And then what I like to do to double check myself is I take a picture showing everything turned off.
Yeah.
And then I go and I turn everything on. So
Everything
I
on.
have the oven on. We'll turn on our cooktop. And then while this is getting hot, we'll check the microwave. So,
Okay.
So a couple of functions that we check of the microwave is the fan. So high, low.
Yep.
That turns on. And we check the light.
Yep.
So now when we come back down to our burners, we
Yeah.
see that they're nice and red.
Woo.
So we'll take a picture of that, and we can also use our handy thermal camera to take a look as well. So we see all of
That's
our
really
burners
cool.
are on.
Yeah.
So now we know that our burners function,
Yeah.
we're going to turn our burners off.
Okay.
And then we're going to continue on with our kitchen inspection, mainly the microwave.
Okay.
So now we're going to check for functionality of the microwave. So
Okay.
I like to just take a piece of paper.
Yep.
I wet it a little bit. And then we just throw it in the microwave, 30 seconds or so.
Yeah.
When that time is up, we'll check the thermal camera, make sure it gets hot.
Oh, that's nice. You can even do it shorter than that, right? Like,
You can.
Yeah, because it should heat up within a few seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and give it a check. So we can see the steam coming off.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So now looking
That's on fire, right?
Now looking with our thermal camera, we're at the hottest point is 178 degrees.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll take
That's really good.
So we'll take a picture of that to show that the microwave is working.
That's awesome.
So we got that. We'll take our paper back and put the homeowner's belongings back in.
Right where it was.
Right where it was.
Yep.
And then we're going to continue on with checking our cabinets and our outlets.
Yep.
And then the last thing that we're going to do before we leave the kitchen
Yeah.
is go back to the oven and check that and
Yep.
turn it off. 'Cause
Okay.
We don't want to walk away from
That's right.
an oven that's on.
That's right.
So we've got another GFCI outlet here. Trips the reset button. And then
And the ceilings look good, and the floor looks good.
ceilings look good,
Yep.
floor looks good.
Yeah.
While we're here, we've got an HVAC vent.
Right.
So we're going to check that with our thermal camera to make sure it's producing cold air as well.
Okay. All right.
So we are at 73 degrees. And then when we get around to the return,
Yeah.
we're going to shoot that and look for our temperature split.
Okay. Do you inspect a refrigerator?
We do not.
Yeah.
So refrigerators are personal items, so people can take them with them.
And during a home sale, they're usually gone.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they're not a built-in appliance.
Right.
So we take a picture and we put that picture in the report,
Yep.
saying that refrigerators are not within the scope of our inspection.
Yeah. Yep. And how about that oven?
So I can see that the element down here is nice and nice bright red.
Don't need infrared for that.
No, sir. So we're going to take a picture showing that that works, and then we're going to turn it off.
Yep.
And I mentioned before that I take a picture of everything off.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to take a picture showing everything is off again.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
my pictures are time stamped.
Yep.
That way I know when I look at my pictures that I turn them off.
That's right. That's
That
right.
way, just to make
That's a
sure
great tip.
I didn't leave anything on.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
So,
Okay. Anything else?
we're going to check out the pantry.
Yep.
And then we'll be done in the kitchen. So shine the flashlight. Like I said, check the door handles.
Yep.
Take a quick look. Look at the ceiling. If there's any drips, if there's any plumbing pipes.
Right.
So that all checks out. So our kitchen inspection is done.
All right. So here's the attic. Thank goodness it's not in a tight closet somewhere. We have a pull downstairs. I love that. So should we go up and take a look?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So
Okay.
the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check our ladder and make sure that everything is connected.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna give it a good shake, just a good once over, because we don't want to be walking up there and have it collapse on us.
Especially with a fat guy like me.
Me too.
All right, let's go.
All right.
All right, so we're in the attic, Ryan. What are we looking at?
So we've got our air handler right here.
Yeah.
So what we're looking for here is, the first thing I do is find the label, which we have up here. So I like taking pictures of the labels of all the appliances and dating them.
Okay.
So we've got our picture, and
it's relatively new. The house is new.
Relatively new.
So we're not really expecting this to be in terrible shape.
No, not at all.
We're just going to kick it on and make sure it heats and cools.
Yep. Well, so we've got a heat pump unit.
Yeah.
The weather conditions today are a little warm.
Yeah.
So we're probably not going to look at the heat mode.
Yep.
They recommend temperatures 60 to 65 degrees.
Yeah.
And above, you don't run the heat.
Yeah.
So that's the guideline that we follow.
Okay.
Because we don't want to buy people a new heat pump.
Yeah. So this isn't gas or natural gas or propane fueled. This is a heat pump. It's like an air conditioner that runs forwards and backwards, heating and cooling.
Exactly.
And this pan here, what's that for?
This is to catch any condensate that comes. So we've got condensate lines here.
Yep.
Any drips or leaks that come from our air handler are going to go in here, and it has a sensor over here with a float. So as that liquid level rises, it'll turn that float, or activate that float, and turn the unit off.
But it shouldn't. It should always stay dry.
It should always stay dry. It should always go through our pipe here.
Yep. And the air evaporator coil is in here. This is producing condensate. Condensate is water, and it just drips, and it has to drip. That's a natural thing.
Yep.
It's producing a ton of condensate.
And it has to go somewhere.
And we saw the end of that condensate pipe by the heat pump unit outside, and it wasn't diverted enough away.
Yep, that was the one that was right down to the flower bed.
Yeah, and so that's what this is from. So that down there is connected to all the way up here.
Yes, sir.
And it has to be functioning just right. And
Correct.
if it's not, water will be spilling out and all that stuff, and that's not good.
Not good at all.
So the homeowner really should come up here and check it out every once in a while.
Absolutely.
They shouldn't see any kind of water.
Shouldn't see any kind of water.
Okay.
So then a couple of other things that we're looking for while we're here is we're looking at the insulation on our refrigerant lines.
Yeah, we saw that outside.
We saw the outside.
All the way up here.
So we're going to do the same evaluation, make sure that there's no damage.
Yeah. Looks good.
Come down to the condensate lines.
Yep.
These need to be insulated as well. That way, as the condensate's draining, the pipe doesn't sweat and just leak water into our pan.
That's right.
Into our work surface, or to the insulation down to the ceiling drywall.
That's right. So pipes on the outside can sweat condensate water.
Yes, sir.
In certain weather conditions, especially in the attic. And this is rarely done. So this is a high quality install right here. This is insulated really well.
Yes, sir. And then now we've finished our evaluation of the air handler.
Yep.
Now we're going to look at the roof structure.
Okay.
So we have a truss system.
Yep.
Which are engineered and manufactured products.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that all of the webbing is not cracked, not damaged.
Yeah.
Free of defects is what we like to say.
Yeah.
So we're going to just take a look around.
And these trusses, they were built at the factory.
Correct.
And they were placed here. They weren't stick built here.
No, they were built in a factory, and then a crane came and set them all in place one by one.
Yeah. Yep.
And so then we're going to look at the top at the gusset plates.
Yep.
Make sure those are there.
Yep.
Make sure they're intact.
Yep.
Make sure they don't have any damage.
Okay.
So the couple that we see here look like they're in good shape.
And that vent pipe, I remember, this is the back side of the house, and that vent pipe right there is over there. And that's a good place to look for a roof leak.
Yes, sir.
From the inside.
Yep.
So we'll take a look at that.
So we'll take out our flashlight, and then we can see it from the top here.
Yep. I don't see any watermarks.
I don't see any watermarks either.
So that's a good way to inspect that roof penetration from the outside with your drone and from the inside.
Yep, we're getting the look on both sides of it.
Yeah. Yep.
And then while we're looking here,
what's that down there?
so that's our soffit vent. And so the piece of cardboard are cardboard baffles.
Yeah.
What that does is keeps the insulation from clogging up that soffit.
Yeah.
That way the attic can breathe.
Yep. And we saw the ridge vent from the drone.
And we saw the ridge vent from
That's
the
up
drone,
there.
and we have it right here.
So those two are connected.
They're connected.
air comes in here and goes out there.
Yep, the soffit lets in that fresh air
Yep.
to push out that hot air, and the hot air leaves our
Neat.
ridge vent.
And that's neat. And when you turn off your flashlight, you can see daylight. And that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's not like a bad thing. Like,
No.
oh no, there's a hole in the roof.
Right.
No, that's a good ventilation
Exactly.
indicator.
At the same time, we're using our senses. We're seeing how hot or cold it may be in the attic also,
Yeah.
because our bodily senses will give us a lot of information as well.
Yeah. What about all this white stuff? That's not snow.
It's not snow. This is a blown fiberglass wool insulation.
Yeah.
So they have an insulation sheet stapled somewhere in here that when we find that, it'll tell us the R value and the thickness.
And I think it might be right there. Let me reach. And the thicker, the better.
Yes, sir.
And so this is like a measuring stick. So we
Yep.
don't have to use ours. And it's at about 16, 17 inches. That's really thick.
That's thick.
Yeah. So that's like wearing a wool hat.
Yeah, and
Your
so
house.
in this particular climate zone, we're looking at an R38.
That's really good. That's really good.
It's really good. And then-
And this platform here that we're standing on, it's really for like a workspace in front of the unit appliance itself. It's really not for storage. You can use it for storage, but I wouldn't clog it all up.
no, you want to make sure that your air handler is readily accessible
Yeah.
in case any repairs need to be done.
Okay. And what are these flexible hose things?
So these are our HVAC ducts. So we've got insulation on the inside,
Yep.
and then even further on the inside, we have a flexible pipe, flexible duct work.
Yeah.
And so this is another thing that we want to check is the strapping. We don't want to make sure, or we want to make sure that it's not too tight and it doesn't restrict the airflow,
Yeah.
because that'll put extra work, extra strain on our HVAC unit.
And sometimes like one room won't feel like the same as all the other rooms. And so if you feel like it's a different climate in the bedroom upstairs, maybe it could be the ductwork.
Yep.
That's crimped.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
So then we're just gonna look down. So we're gonna stay here on our work surface. We're
Yeah.
not gonna walk across any of the trusses.
It's very dangerous to do
Very,
that.
very dangerous.
Don't want to fall through.
Don't want to fall through. Don't want to put your foot through. And then, so we're just gonna look down and see what we can see.
Okay.
So far everything is looking pretty good. We've got some more of our HVAC ducts over there.
Yep.
The strapping looks good.
Yep.
Nothing looks over tightened.
Yep.
Roof sheathing.
And again, you
Looks
don't
good.
want to have a homeowner modify these, cut these. Don't
No.
go up here and start cutting things and get things out of the way.
Yep, absolutely not.
So we can have more space for storage.
Nope.
These have to stay right where they are.
Stay right where they are, or you get an engineer's stamped letter and have a qualified professional do the work. But don't.
Yep. Okay, so for the homeowner, it's really good to keep this as a workspace so you can get to the heating and cooling system and look for water. For this unit, there shouldn't be any water dripping.
No, sir.
All right.
The only water should be in the pipes.
All right. Well, thanks, Ryan. Let's get out of this hot attic.
Yeah.
Okay.
First thing we're gonna do is come over and check our toilet. We're gonna give it a little nudge with our leg to make sure that we've got a secure connection. That way all of the waste makes its way into the waste system. And then we're gonna give our toilet a flush and we're gonna listen. So we don't hear any gurgling or any strange noises. And now we're gonna start running some water. Check the cabinet first, make sure that all the pipe work is connected and plug our sink, fill in our sink. At the same time, we're gonna go over to our shower. I like to stand in the shower before I turn it on. Just give it a feel, make sure it doesn't crack. Check top of the surround. Close the curtain, that way we don't splatter water all over the floor. Come over and we'll turn our bath fan on, make sure that turns on. So we've got our fan on, go ahead and turn that off, and then we'll check another outlet. GFCI protected outlet, trip, our reset is right here. Push that, we've got power, and that looks good. I've got the hot water running. We're gonna check the water temperature, take a picture. So we're at about 115 degrees, which is still below that 120 degree threshold we mentioned earlier. I switch it over to cold, take out my level, that way I can disengage the stopper. So our sink is draining now. So while it's draining, we're gonna flush our toilet and listen for any gurgling or any other strange sounds. So that sounds good to me. Our sink is emptied. Come back down, see if we have any leaks. So no leaks, that looks good to me. I'm gonna leave the shower on while we do the rest of our inspection. That way we can check for functional flow and functional drainage throughout the rest of the house.
All right, Ryan, let's do the interior. So how do you do a typical room like this as a bedroom? What do you look at and what should we inspect?
Yep, so we're gonna start by opening and closing the door.
Okay.
Make sure it operates smoothly, it doesn't stick or bind anywhere.
Yep.
So this feels pretty good.
And when it binds on an older home, sometimes that shows settlement.
Settlement.
And that's not too bad on an older home, but on a brand new home like this, we shouldn't have anything out of square.
Correct. And then while we're looking at the door, we're looking at the door frame and the wall.
Yep.
Looking to see if we have any cracking, any corner cracks.
Corner cracks, those are common from the top corner. Always look there.
Very common.
Okay.
So we've got another outlet here.
As a home inspector, you have to inspect a representative number of receptacles, doors, windows, and all that stuff. And you do that by just using your device again.
Using the device again.
Yep.
Invaluable for as small as it is.
Yeah.
Can't do my job without it.
Yeah. Yep.
So the outlet looks good. And then if we look up, we have an HVAC duct register.
Yeah.
So we'll take out our thermal camera.
Yep. And when it was off, it was like 70 something, but it's on now.
Yep.
It should be cool.
So we're at 52 degrees.
That's excellent.
So I like taking a picture and putting this in the report to show that the system is functioning.
And you're looking for a difference in temperature.
Yes, sir.
Like the air going into the system is the air temperature, but when it comes out in cooling mode, it should be like a 20-degree difference or something like that?
Yeah, 15 to 20 degrees.
Okay. That certainly is.
Yep.
Cool.
So we're gonna keep going down here. Looks like we've got another outlet. I'll hand you the tester.
Yep.
Let you do some work.
Sure. That's good. That's good.
Perfect.
There you are.
Thank you.
And then the window.
And we've got a window and another outlet, so we'll go ahead and check both of those.
Okay. And how do you check a window?
Clear these window coverings out of the way. So the first thing that we're going to do is just look at the glass, look at the panes.
You don't want anything cracked.
We don't want anything cracked. We don't want to see any foggy or haziness.
Okay.
Any moisture.
Yeah, and that means a lost seal. Like the two window panes, there's gunk in the middle of them.
Correct.
And you can't wash it off.
Can't wash it off.
Yeah.
And so I'm not seeing any of that with this window.
Okay.
So then next step is we'll open and close it.
Okay.
Let this have to lift. So opens, and then when we have it opened all the way, it stays open under its own power.
Yeah, it doesn't fall down.
It doesn't fall down.
Like a guillotine. Ooh.
Correct. That'd be a bad day.
Yep.
So opens and close.
And the top is fixed. The bottom sash moves.
Correct.
And the screen window, the screen on the outside looks okay. Sometimes it's torn, and that's a minor thing.
Yeah.
You put minor things in your report?
We do.
Yeah.
Typical window screens on second floors we'll mention.
Yeah.
Because it's another layer of fall protection.
Yeah. Yep.
So first floor, not so much. Second floor, we'll mention it.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll lock our window back. It felt smooth, operated smooth.
Yeah.
No binding.
Yeah.
Just nice and smooth up and down.
Yeah.
We're looking at our corners.
Yep.
Looking at the corners of the drywall.
Looking for water.
Looking for water or any damage to the frames.
Yeah.
And the corners are a common point of failure.
Yep.
This window looks good to me.
Now you're not gonna, or are you? Are you gonna open and close every window throughout the whole house, or is it a representative number?
So if we can get to all the windows, we will.
Okay.
But if homeowners have items in the way, we'll omit them as long as we meet that representative number.
Okay, cool. And do you look at the flooring?
Yep, we look at the flooring. We're feeling what we can feel.
Yeah.
You know, we're not expecting to feel any humps, any bumps, any divots.
Right.
So as we're doing it, we come across another outlet. That looks good to me.
And the closet doors.
Closet doors.
You want the latch to be in the right way.
Yep.
And the striker plate attached. And you want it square.
And we want it square. We've got the closet.
Yep.
Closet light. We'll come in, just give it.
And you're always looking up, I see. You're always looking for like a roof leak or something up there.
You're looking for a roof leak, and we were just in the attic. We know our air handler is somewhere above this room as well.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we don't see any condensate or water coming from that.
That's
the
right.
ceiling either.
Yeah, and it could be unexpectedly somewhere. A lot of people don't look up. Home inspectors, they're always looking up.
Always looking up.
And looking up, I see a smoke detector.
So we've got a smoke detector.
And that's a modern one. It's probably hardwired, has electricity.
Should be.
With a battery backup.
Correct.
And if one goes off, they all go off.
That's right.
Do you want to test it?
Let's go ahead and Use
handy tool.
the short boy stick.
That's right. Very good. Very good. So that's a good test. And you're supposed to replace your batteries once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it was an older home and that smoke detector was yellow,
it's time to replace.
Yep. They don't last forever.
No, they have an additive in there to make it yellow as it ages. So
really? Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So if you see a yellow smoke detector, no good.
No good.
It's so easy to replace them.
Yep.
Yep. What else are we looking at?
So we're gonna finish our way around.
Yeah.
Around this wall.
Yep.
Looking, take out the flashlight since we've got a bit of a dark area.
Yeah.
Look in the corners, looking up. We haven't looked behind the door, and we have another outlet behind the door, so we're gonna check that one as well. We've got a jumper vent here for the HVAC.
Yeah.
So this is connected to the other side of the door to help the bedroom breathe.
I see. So it jumps this enclosed space.
Correct.
So that this space in here is sharing that air over there.
Yep.
That's what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't block that off.
Don't block it off.
And if you think that's the heating or cooling supply, it's not.
No, sir. It's like I said, it's a jumper. It has a small duct connected to it that'll be on the other side.
Sometimes I'll see them above the door and you can see through it.
Yeah.
And people kind of like don't like that because you can see through it for privacy.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Very good idea.
All right. So that's a pretty good inspection of a typical bedroom.
Yep. So
let's go somewhere else and keep on inspecting.
All right.
All right, Ryan, we're in the garage. Let's inspect the garage.
All right.
So what do you want to do first?
So the first thing that I like to start with is by checking the garage door opener.
Okay.
So we're making sure it's attached to the wall.
Yep.
And then we're gonna hit the button and make sure that our garage door operates.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And then the whole time we're listening for any loud creaks, cracks, just anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So that closed,
looks good.
We're gonna open it.
Okay.
All right.
Now, do you test the safety laser beams?
We do. So if I could ask you for some help,
let's do it.
I'll let you trip that while I push the button.
So at the bottom of the garage door, there's some laser eyes. And if the laser beam is broken, that means something is in the way of the door.
All right.
And the garage door, this is the biggest moving thing in the whole house. So it has a safety device. And that works. So we're good. And this handle here, if I grab it and pull it, it releases the door.
Yep, that way we can manually open and close it.
Okay, just in case the electricity goes out or something like that.
Right, that way we still have a way to get out of our garage.
Okay, yeah. You want to give it a try?
Yeah, after you.
Oh. And it clicks right back in to place. Nice.
Yep.
And I don't see any problems with the framing.
No.
Aluminum panels, looks in really good shape.
Yep.
These hinges, they all have a lot of bolts. Sometimes the bolts get loose.
Yep.
On the sides, on the rails, there are these wheels.
Yep, check the rollers.
Yep. Sometimes they pop off for some reason.
But look at the panels as well.
Yeah. It's not going to rot because it's all metal.
No.
Yeah.
So nobody's hit it with a car or a lawnmower or anything.
And the opener itself is attached really well by this brace attached to the ceiling, and it's plugged right into its dedicated receptacle. It's not on an extension cord laying on the floor or something.
Nope, correct.
That's great. All right, that looks good. Anything else with the garage door?
So the last thing that we're going to do is test the contact reversal.
Okay.
So as the door is going down, if it comes in contact with something, it should auto reverse.
Okay.
So if you're closing it and a child happens to walk through it and the photo eyes don't work, it's another layer of protection.
Backup. Yep. Yeah. So that's a big object moving in the house.
Yeah.
So it needs that.
That's right.
You want to give it a go?
Yeah.
Let me hit the button?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so as the door is coming down, we're just gonna stick our hands out and let it hit our hands while not giving it any pressure to make sure that the door will auto reverse.
Perfect.
Which it did.
Great, awesome.
Yep.
The floor looks pretty good.
Yeah, so we've got some cracking in our joints here which is where we want to see them. That's why the contractors put them there.
That's right.
Is to try and control where and the direction.
Right, because like you said, it's going to crack. Concrete's going to crack.
Yep.
But you want to control where the crack is.
That's right.
Right there is perfect place.
Yep.
It actually cracked where it was supposed to be. And this is no big deal.
No.
It's just a typical crack.
Typical cracking.
Yeah, awesome. And the rest of it looks pretty good. And the floor should be sloped away.
Yep.
If you come in during a rainstorm, you want all that drippy water to go in that direction.
Exactly. Everything comes back to water.
Yeah. Yep. What else are we going to look at?
All right. So we see we've got some light switches here. So we'll come over here. Well, before we get there, we'll check the door.
Okay.
So that same door that we saw on our exterior inspection.
Yeah, with the paint on the
With the paint on the outside. So we want to make sure that door opens and closes.
Yep.
Hardware is attached. Glass panel door. Make sure no broken seals, no cracked glass.
And this is an exterior door, so it's got that big deadbolt.
That's right. And then looking for any rot around the frame, at the bottoms.
Yep.
That all looks good to me.
Good.
And then we can get to our light switches. We know that's our exterior light, and here's our interior. So
Nice. It's impossible for a home inspector to figure all the switches out, right?
Right.
I mean, it's going to take you all day
Yeah.
if you had to look at every little thing. It's really a home inspection. It's a general overview, and
Right.
a visual only. It's not exhaustive.
yeah, then you have some light switches that are pre-wired for ceiling fans that may not be installed
That's
yet.
right. That's
so those
right.
don't do anything.
That's right. That's right.
So,
And there's that ground fault we saw earlier
yep. So
to protect us.
Yep, so we've got two. We've got this one here was one we saw earlier for our outside receptacles.
Yeah.
So this one here must be the one for the garage.
Okay.
So what I like to do when I see a refrigerator or
Yeah.
a freezer in the garage,
Yeah.
I like to come over
Yep.
to make sure it's on.
Okay. That's
So
on.
we see that it's on.
Yep.
Now we can start looking at our outlets.
Okay.
And then after we trip and reset,
Yeah.
we go back to the fridge and make sure power came back on.
Make sure it's on
Because
again.
we don't want to buy a freezer full of groceries.
That's right. And I've done that.
All right, so lesson learned. So we've got the right wiring.
Yep.
Trip it. We'll reset it. Turn the refrigerator back on.
And it is. Good.
All right, good. So this is our main electrical panel.
All right. And this is where all the electricity is distributed throughout the house.
Correct.
And that's the main disconnect there
That's right. So
in an emergency.
event of emergency.
Tink, turn that off.
Just one hand movement.
Yeah. And you tell your clients where all these important things are.
Yep.
Like the main disconnect for the electric.
So we'll say where the main disconnect is, the main panel. If there's any sub panels,
Yeah.
whether it's a breaker panel or a fuse box for those
Right.
older homes.
Yep. Yep. And all the breakers should be labeled to
Correct.
tell the homeowner where each one is going.
Correct. And they shouldn't be done by people's names.
Yeah.
So
Why?
Because you want to know what you're turning off, what breaker you're turning off.
Yeah.
You know,
So Ben's room doesn't mean anything
No.
to anyone who doesn't know Ben.
correct. So we're going to look at our label and make sure that they're all labeled, no names are
Yeah.
used.
And what are these guys? These little white buttons on these
So
breakers.
those are our arc fault circuit interrupters.
Yeah. That's different
So-
from GFCI.
Correct.
Yeah. GFCI
So-
protects you from water. Arc
Right.
faults cut the electricity off if there's an arc or a spark.
Yep. Just like the name implies.
And they particularly protect basically the inside rooms.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remove the dead front cover?
As long as it's safely accessible.
Yeah.
So
What do you want to do here?
So what I start with is we looked at our panel,
Yep.
looked at our breakers. The next step is to close it up. I'm comfortable moving the homeowner's lawnmower. It's
Sure.
on wheels.
Sure.
So we'll slide this out of our way.
Okay.
And then we'll close it up and we'll get ready to take our panel off.
Okay.
Using this as a shield.
Yeah.
That way if anything does arc,
Yep.
we're protected. And then while we have it off, we're gonna look at the back.
Okay.
Look for any potential scorch marks.
Right. That would be bad.
That would be bad. So this one looks like it's in really good condition.
Yeah, very clean.
So set this out of our way. I start on the perimeter of our panel.
Okay.
So I look at the top, bottom,
Yeah.
and sides.
Yeah.
So we see we've got our wires coming in. We're looking for the knockouts, for the grommets
Yep.
to be intact. That
Yep.
way none of that wire is rubbing against, a potential rough metal edge.
Yeah. So you don't want to just an open hole where there's wires coming through. those wires need to be always fastened
Correct.
and secure.
Yep.
And sealed up, and that's what we have here. That's good.
Yep, and we have it all around.
Yeah.
So then when we do that, now we're going to come into our breakers and look at the wiring.
Yeah.
So we're going to determine if the wire size is the correct size for the breaker.
Yeah.
That way, the wires, a wire that's not sized correctly could potentially overheat.
Yep.
So
Like a really big breaker on a thin gauge wire is not
Exactly.
a good thing.
not a good thing.
Okay.
And then, so what we're doing, we've got a 15 amp breaker with a 14 gauge wire, which is correct.
Perfect.
And then we're looking to see how much of the insulation has been stripped back.
Okay.
Because we don't want to have any overstripped wires.
Too much exposed metal is a hazard.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So far our breakers are looking good here.
Yep.
And then we have a white wire that's been re-identified. Moving over onto this side, we're looking at our wire sizes, which look correct.
Yep.
Not a lot of exposed metal.
And these wires down here are really big and fat. They're the main wires.
They're the main wires.
From the meter.
From
on
the meter,
outside.
which should be right on the other side of this wall.
Yeah, we saw that before.
Yep.
So it goes from the ground up into the meter, from the meter up into here, and into the lug nuts.
Exactly.
And those, I rarely see these, but it's a great idea. And they're required in some jurisdictions. The plastic covers over the lugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is an added protection lever.
Added layer of protection.
Layer, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, and then the one thing that I want to pay attention to is we see that we've got some conduit overhead.
Yeah.
So this is a PVC conduit. It can't have the same wire that's used in the rest of the house.
Yeah.
So the rest of the house has what's called Gromicko. You can't put that in PVC conduit.
Yeah.
Because it gets too hot.
Ah.
So we could kind of trace it down where it's coming.
Yeah.
And looks like we can see it
Yeah.
coming out right here with that white and green wire.
Yeah. Right.
So I want to take a closer look because maybe it'll be printed on the wire what type of wire it is.
Okay.
To make sure we have the correct application.
Yeah. Good tip.
So looking closer at it, I can see the wire size. Don't necessarily see what type of wire, or Gromicko or like a THHN or THNN.
Yep.
So this is one thing that we'll put in our report
Okay.
as potentially improper, or maybe a homeowner did it.
Yep.
And then just to be in their best interest to have an electrician come and check that out
Yeah.
to make sure the rest of the house is safe.
Yeah, that's great. And you couldn't determine that, make that recommendation without taking a look.
Correct.
So I'm glad you looked.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't know what this goes to, do we? Like
So
it goes
so
down,
trace
oh,
it.
it goes right there.
So it goes to
they
some
wanted
outlets.
more receptacles in the garage,
Correct.
and they just threw that in there.
That's right.
Hopefully it was done by an electrician and everything's right, but we can't tell right now.
We can't tell right now.
So it's a good idea.
Right. It's not gonna hurt.
Not saying, hey, run out of the house and call the fire department,
No.
but you really should get an electrician out here to further investigate.
That's right.
Just to make sure everything's good.
Correct.
Perfect. That's great information. I don't see any water, rust, mice, bird's nests, paint, so it looks
Nope.
pretty clean.
Pretty
and dry.
clean. Yep.
Perfect. All right, let's put the panel back on.
All right.
All right, Ryan, we're in the garage and we're taking a look at the hot water tank. What do you look at when you're doing a hot water tank inspection?
Yeah, so the first thing that I like to do is we identify in our reports where the water tank is in the house.
Yeah.
So we're in the garage, so
Yep.
we're going to take a picture showing that,
Yep.
and that will go in the report. And then I'm going to come and take a picture of our label as well.
Yeah, you do that to every appliance, it seems like.
Every appliance.
Yep. It's really good information. There's a ton of information. The size, the date, the serial, the model, all kinds of stuff.
That's right.
Yep.
So that we've got those taken care of. Now we're going to go to the evaluation of the tank.
Okay.
So we're going to start here. We've got our TPR valve, so our temperature and pressure relief valve.
Yeah.
And that needs to be down to 8 inches of the floor,
Yeah.
which it is. That way, when if that kicks on, it discharges that
Why
superheated
would it kick
water.
on?
So if the pressure builds up in the tank,
Yeah.
you know, if we get that excess amount of pressure, this tab here should kick on and blow out all that extra pressure and that superheated water and steam.
That's a problem that needs to be addressed immediately.
Yes.
So if the homeowner sees any kind of drip coming from there, that's a
Yep.
problem.
That's a problem. Either it could have been activated, or the valve could be faulty.
Right.
So yeah, you don't want to see water at the end of that pipe.
Yep. Yeah, one time I was doing an inspection and my shoulder caught that and it discharged. I went like that. Like,
See, and
that's sometimes it's an accident, but sometimes it's an indication of some kind of temperature pressure problem in the tank.
And you're lucky that hopefully they had the proper pipe and discharge on it, because you could have had a really bad day.
Yeah, because that's scalding hot water.
Scalding hot water.
Okay. Why is it on a base like that?
So it's elevated off the floor,
Yeah.
and we've got this little wall here to protect from any impact.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Then the other thing that we'll note is that it's a hybrid water heater.
What's that?
Not just your standard tankless.
Yeah.
So this actually has a little heat pump on top. So similar to our HVAC system.
Yeah.
They've taken that heat pump and have shrunk it down
That's really cool.
and put it on our water heater.
Yeah.
That way it makes this a very efficient unit.
Yeah.
So we've got our different modes on the top that we see.
Yep.
So
that's a smart tank right there.
it's a smart tank, very, very efficient tank, low cost to operate.
Yeah. Yep. That's great.
And, so looking at the platform, we don't see any rust, any corrosion. It's not bent, maybe from the weight of the tank might have bent it.
Yep.
This all looks good to me. And Ben, we saw that pipe earlier.
Yeah.
The other one that we didn't know what it was for.
Right.
Well, we see we've got a discharge pipe here
Okay.
that
It's dripping.
it's dripping.
Yep.
And then what it's dripping into, that pipe is going on the outside.
Right.
So I think we found the other end of that pipe from earlier.
Yeah. Yep.
And so this, because it's a heat pump, it makes condensate.
That's right. Just like the furnace up in the attic.
Yep. And so that condensate has to go somewhere.
Yep.
And so in this case, it's going to the outside.
So this dripping is good dripping.
It's good dripping.
This dripping is bad dripping. That dripping from a evaporator coil heat pump is condensate, and that is good dripping.
Correct. Yep.
I'm glad you can figure all this out and explain it to your clients.
Yep. That's why they hire us.
So what's that? It looks like a wrapped up pumpkin there.
So that's our pressure relief tank.
Okay.
So
That expands as the water heats up, water expands, and this relieves that pressure from the pressure of the water lines in the house.
correct.
That's cool. And it looks like, man, this builder wraps everything up that could potentially sweat in insulation. It's really good. So that's
Correct.
what that insulation is.
Yep. And so while we're looking at it,
Yep.
we can give it just a little shake, make sure it's secured.
Yeah.
So didn't have any movement in there, so
Yep.
we're happy with that.
And up there, those insulated pipes, that's the cold water and the hot water.
Correct.
Nice. Where's the main water shutoff valve?
So if we keep looking here, we don't see it here.
No, it's not there.
It's not there. Is it behind any of this stuff here?
Yeah. So it is.
Oh, there
It's
it is.
behind that, and it's in the wall. It's in a recessed box, like in the laundry, where it's all the water
Yeah.
lines are in there. That's cool.
So it's protected from impact.
Yep.
So that's a good thing.
And the homeowner needs to know where that is.
And so we'll take as best of a picture as we can,
Yeah.
showing where it is,
Yeah.
and put that in the report. That way the homeowner knows where to go in the event of emergency.
Yeah. Again, you're not going to move this during a home inspection,
Nope.
but during an emergency, your homeowner is going to have to rip this and get to that water shutoff valve.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's similar to the shutoff switch at the electrical panel. In an emergency, one flick turns off all the electricity with one turn of a valve that turns off all the water in the house.
Correct.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yep.
Well, that was the garage. Is there anything else in the garage you're looking at?
So behind you, we're,
Oh, yeah.
we're looking at these outlets or receptacles here. We said we've got GFCI protection here.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that that functions.
Okay.
So we've got an unused one here.
Yep.
We're checking our wiring,
Yep.
which is correct again.
That works.
That works.
Yep. Perfect.
And it resets.
Yep.
But something else here is catching my eye.
Yep. Okay.
Somebody did some work,
Yeah.
there's some cutout on the
Yeah.
drywall here.
Yeah.
Well, what do we have on the other side of this wall?
Living space.
We've got, so since we have living space on the other side, we now have a void in the fire separation.
Yeah.
So any fire that breaks out in the garage, you can go right through these little cracks is a perfect avenue for that fire to spread throughout the rest of the house.
Right. You don't want that.
You don't want that.
You don't want, even if this is just a cut, it's not like a really big hole, you want to patch this up.
Correct.
To prevent any fires that may start in the garage, which sometimes happens.
Yep.
People are working on their engines and they cause a fire or something, and that fire loves to go where there's a hole or an opening.
That's right.
And we want to seal all this up.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, it's all about safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is going to be in our report. This is going to be a safety item.
Yeah.
So this is something that we try not to use very often.
Yeah.
But this is one of those times where fire safety.
Yep.
This is going to be a big red tab in our report.
And it's easy to fix.
Easy to fix.
Yeah, you get a little tape, some
little
drywall
tape, little mud.
patching,
Yep.
it blows.
That's
and-
right.
And put your
Yeah.
garage back in order.
And it's a garage. It doesn't have to look pretty.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Okay. Anything else?
All right, so we've got a little bit of cracking here.
Yeah.
We'll put the homeowner's lawnmower back.
And it looks like it was following the control crack,
Yep.
and it just kept on going.
And it just kept on going. So
So what would you say? It's not a big deal.
it's not a big deal. I still recommend sealing it
Yeah.
to hopefully prevent further spreading
Yep.
or it getting bigger
Yeah. And no water getting in there.
and no water getting in.
Okay. That's good.
And then we're just following along. We're looking at the walls, looking for any damage, any holes. And then we're just following along the rest. So we know there's an outlet behind this refrigerator.
Yep.
But we're not going to move the fridge to check that.
That's right.
Other than that, we're going to just come to this other corner and that will wrap up our inspection of the garage.
Awesome. Awesome. That's really good. Well, Ryan, that was a fantastic inspection. Going into it, I didn't think I would see like major, really big material defects that are going to hurt people. And I don't think we found any. There's that little patch in the garage that could be patched up. That's a fire hazard, but it should be patched up. It's easy to fix.
Yeah.
But on a new home like this, the point of getting a home inspection is to be educated about the condition of the home and to maintain the home. You don't want it to fall apart.
Right.
Because while we're living in it, it's falling apart. You know, it's trying to leak, it's trying to fall apart and trying to rot and all that stuff.
That's right.
So you are providing a really good service to your clients. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yep. You're going to produce an inspection report for your clients?
Yes, sir. Within 24 hours.
And what's it include? And how do I get it?
So you'll get it via email.
Yeah.
And it'll include all the drone footage that we took.
Yeah.
Full color pictures
Yeah.
of everything that we found and all the labels from all the major appliances, any video that we took, and everything.
And the things that are wrong that I got to do.
Yep. Things that the homeowner has to do.
Yep.
Recommended things that could be done, and also, like we said before, and the things that are done well.
Yeah.
You know?
And also home maintenance tips you're going to give me.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And I'll get that within a day. And if I ordered ancillary services like a radon test or a water quality or a mold test, that'll be with the report as well.
Yes, sir.
That's fantastic. You're a one-stop shop.
That's right, and everything gets delivered in one tidy email, so you don't have to go chasing down all these different reports.
That's fantastic. Ryan, I want to thank you so much for doing a really good inspection.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Ben from Internachi.
I'm Ryan with Rzany Home Inspections.
We'll see you at the next home inspection.